So I was asked if the Cloud Pak for integration could be installed onto a IBM Cloud Satellite cluster, and the answer is a resounding yes, but I thought I'd just put together a quick demo to show a couple of the storage things that you might need to know when you're doing it, and just show the process. So I'm going to start by logging into my cloud account. I've already gone in and I've created a satellite cluster. The satellite cluster I've created is on AWS. It's got, I believe, 6 nodes with 8 CPUs each, and the nodes are all on a private VPC, so they cannot be accessed directly from the internet. In order to get to my cluster, I have connected an SSH client through a little jump node in the Amazon VPC, so that I can run a little SOCKS proxy and get this browser through to the cluster. So this is my cluster, and I can open up the OpenShift web console. So it's going to take me through the IBM Cloud logon process and then drop me into the Red Hat cluster itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the Cloud Pak for integration operators onto the cluster. In order to do that, I need to install the IBM operator catalog onto the cluster. So I'm going to skip the tour and go and load up the IBM operators from the Helm chart. Okay, so let's just go and make sure that those catalog sources are loading fine by having a look at the pods in the OpenShift Marketplace namespace. And here we now have the IBM Operator Catalog and the Open Cloud Operators Catalog, so the catalog for IBM software and the catalog for the common services. Which should mean I can now go and create my operators, install my operators. I'm going to create a project to put them in. I'm going to do a namespace scoped installation and go to the operator hub. And find the Cloud Pak. I'm going to install from the latest channel into a specific namespace, CP4I, automatic approval. Okay, and that'll take a minute just to install the operators that I need to install the actual, to deploy the actual products. Okay, while that's happening, let's just go and take a quick look at the storage configuration on the cluster. So I've already followed the storage template creation guidance from the IBM Cloud Satellite page to install the storage classes for AWS. Ignore the IBM C file ones, they're not needed here. What we need is the Satellite AWS block and Satellite AWS file storage classes to provide RWO and RWX storage. I've also gone in and I've made the SAT AWS block gold storage the default, because when you're installing common services, it will use the default storage class unless you go and specifically configure it in advance. So I thought I might as well just get that set. Right, so back to the operators. And we can see now that we're starting to get a bunch of the operators up to date. Okay, so I skipped forward about 5 minutes there so that I could wait for all the operators to install. I now have all the successful operator installs. Next step from the documentation is to jump in to create a pull secret. So I'm just going to create my IBM entitlement key pull secret. I'm going to use the default name so that everything just picks it up by default. And pull secret from the clipboard. And that's created the secret that I need in the namespace to be able to deploy the actual software. So back to installed operators, and I'm going to go down and install a platform navigator. And in storage, I need to select the right storage class. So this is the storage used by the IBM automation platform. So I need the RWX storage class, which is the satellite AWS file gold. And I can hit create, and that will start going off and making me a platform navigator. Now, one of the things about the templates that you use to install the EFS storage on satellite clusters is that they currently only provide the static provisioning EFS CSI driver. The dynamic provisioning one is coming in the future. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to storage and wait for the persistent volume claim to arrive, so that I can satisfy that using a static PV when it comes up. Okay, so you'll see I've got some persistent volume claims bound. I slightly cheated here, and I'll explain exactly what I did in the blog, but I created a new storage class for the EFS CSI driver to do dynamic provisioning to save me having to create the persistent volumes manually. Okay, so now I'm going to jump back up to complete the installation. Now that I've got all my persistent volumes sorted out, we should be able to go in and see that the platform navigator is ready. I know I'm going to need the admin password, so I'm going to go and grab that from the common services namespace next. I just go and have a look for the generated password in its secret. So scroll down and find the right secret. And copy the password to the clipboard. And now back to the platform navigator, which is in the CP4i namespace. And go to its UI. Use the default admin account and log in. And I've got a successful installation of Cloud Pak for integration on the automation platform. So obviously for a production system, I would be being a bit more careful about exactly what I'm doing with my storage. EFS is, I believe, still in tech preview under OpenShift, so using something like OCS or Portworx would be a better idea, but that's all possible on a satellite cluster as well. Okay, I'll leave it there.